What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a short form horror movie that I've actually been really excited to see ever since I heard about it last year. So, this film is directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, who directed one of my favorite films of all time called Cure. It's in the Criterion Collection. And what I love about that movie is it's super horrifying and unnerving, but it's also very dreamlike and ethereal and puts you almost in a trance while you're watching it. And I can safely say when I saw Cure the first time, I'd never seen anything like it in my life. And I haven't seen anything else in Kurosawa's catalog. So I was really looking forward to watch something else of his. And I saw that this was only 45 minutes long and that people really seemed to praise this one a lot. And the film I'm going to be talking about with you today is Chime. Chime is directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. A chef's life is disrupted by a chime that brings with it an increasing sense of dread. So I was super excited to watch this because, like I said, Cure is one of my favorite films of all time, one of the best movies I've seen in the Criterion Collection. I constantly recommend it to people. And this thing was great, especially for 45 minutes. If I have any complaints about this, I just wish it would have been a full length feature film. I feel like there's so much you could dive into with this material and explore it in a way that's even more satisfying than what you get here. But I do think in the 45-minute runtime of the short horror film, you get just enough for it to pack a very intense punch, and I'm excited to tell you about it today. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to this chef who we see runs this class that he is teaching all of these different people how to cook. And there's a young man in his class that acts somewhat strange during all of the lessons that he gives. He seems to always be kind of in the back of the classroom while everyone else is like working together in a large group. And we're also shown this chef's day-to-day life. He's trying to get another job working as a head chef for a restaurant, and he is trying to make a big drastic shift in his life. And we see his day-to-day life at home, living with, I don't think it's ever explicitly said, but I think it's his wife and his child. And he goes home every day, and his life seems to be incredibly mundane and routine. One day he goes to his class, and that strange student in his classroom starts complaining about this chime that he's hearing over and over again, and that he joined this class to kind of just break up the mundanity. It wasn't even to necessarily like learn how to cook, it was to get away and drown out this chime that he continues to hear. And something very intense happens, which shifts the entire dynamic of the film. And we follow the chef after this course of events and watch him slowly start to become plagued by the sound of this chime. So, like I said, very excited to watch this, and it was very excellently done. For starters, just like Cure, this is immaculately shot. The attention to detail and the cinematography in this truly is what makes it so unsettling. What I love about what I've seen from Kurosawa's work so far, he is not about jump scares. That is not what he does with his work. He is so much more fixated on making you as the viewer stare at something truly horrific or lingering on an empty space or an object that implies something truly horrific. And you get the best of both worlds in this 45-minute segment. There's a ton of truly haunting imagery. And in the last like 5 minutes of this, I was really blown away by just how much it kind of shook me up with how unsettling a lot of the imagery is, and just like what is implied through the imagery, which is what I think makes this so effective. Secondly, is sound design. In Cure, I said it very specifically in my review. The sound is everything in that movie, and I think that carries over into this. I watched this with headphones on, and I really think that that is the best way to watch Kurosawa's work, because when you're watching it, there's so much attention to detail in the sound design in his movies. And in this, it's what makes it so unnerving. It's like the attention to detail early on in the class of like knives cutting and like someone working with a chicken and like bones breaking, and all of these little things that just create a very anxiety inducing atmosphere that keep keeps you as the viewer on the edge of your seat. I felt like I was looking over my shoulder while I was watching this just because of how unnerved I was by the entirety of the short film. And so much of that is due to the choices with the sound design. And all of the performances in this from top to bottom are great. When I watched Cure, I felt the exact same way. Kurosawa just gets a brilliant performance out of all of his actors. And I was really impressed by the lead in this who plays the chef. He was fantastic. And just the way his character sort of had to shift throughout the runtime of the short film, really awesome to watch. And I think that, you can take this for what it is and just appreciate it as like a short horror film that answers some questions, but also leaves some things ambiguous. And it just keeps your mind wandering. But I also think there's a really interesting idea when it comes to the mundanity of life here and getting bored and tired of the same routine and striving for something new in your life. And if that doesn't work out, literally being driven insane by doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I think like it's all through the way that Kurosawa shoots things in this movie. There's this scene where he's eating dinner with his family and like the son breaks out into like hysterical laughter at one point. The wife just randomly gets up and takes out the aluminum can recycling, and it's so uncanny and unsettling and strange. But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, you're watching the same things on repeat every single day. Your routine is exactly the same and you're sick of it. You're clearly searching for something else. You want to do more with your life and things just aren't working out. And so, how would you start to perceive things? Would it make you go insane? And I think like seeing that and understanding what Kurosawa has done previously with his other work in studying the human condition and kind of breaking apart psychology in this very fascinating way, I was just completely and totally hooked at picking apart each and every little detail when it came to showcasing that very extreme mundanity with life and kind of boredom with the complacency of day to day. And so many of us, I feel like, experience that in a very raw and visceral way. And I thought it came to life here in a way that really kind of moved me. It was very just shocking and compelling. And like I said at the beginning of the video, if I had any complaints about this, I just wish it was longer. There's so many things about it and little pieces of detail that are incorporated that I wish there was more time to flesh each and every piece out. Because one of the things I loved about Cure is throughout that entire runtime, I feel like Kurosawa does just a brilliant job exploring all of these different themes and ideas to where I never want that to end. And that was the same case with this. I didn't want it to end. I was so interested in what direction it was going to go. And I really think he did a phenomenal job in just a short 45-minute runtime. And I think if you're a fan of horror, you should 100% watch this because it's horror done in a very different way, a very unique and compelling way that I feel like only Kurosawa could accomplish. So have you seen Chime? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this was incredible. It was very compelling. It was disturbing. It left me on the edge of my seat, and I already can't wait to watch it again. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.